What if Ben Solo and Rey didn't walk away from Exegol, but walked forward together? What if instead of returning to broken systems, they chose to reshape the galaxy itself? Two pulses of the Force, one future, and a destiny about to be rewritten. Ben Solo awakens in the ruins of Exegol. He should not be breathing. The abyss should have claimed him. Yet Ree's hands glow with living light as it surges into his chest, dragging him back from the edge of death. Once again, she refuses to let him fall. But when their eyes meet amid the shattered throne room, something unexpected happens. Neither of them thinks about returning to the Resistance. Neither thinks about the Jedi Order. Neither thinks about restoring systems that failed everyone they ever loved. They think about change, not darkness, not domination, but something unfamiliar, something the galaxy has never dared to attempt. What? If the Dyad stopped standing on opposite sides of war? What if the Force itself brought them together for more than just survival? What if the bond Palpatine feared became something far greater than he ever imagined? A new legacy. Rey pulls Ben to his feet as Exegol collapses around them. The Sith cult lies shattered. Palpatine's fleet burns in orbit, and in the sudden silence, a realization echoes through their shared connection. The galaxy has no leader, no order, no future. Someone will have to step forward. Why not them? "You brought me back," Ben whispers, his voice still trembling. Rey shakes her head softly. "We brought each other back. Now we bring the galaxy back too." They stand together, leaning on one another as the smoke clears. Victory surrounds them, but so does uncertainty. The war may be over, but its aftermath is far more dangerous. The First Order is fractured, its remnants scattered across the stars. The Resistance is exhausted, barely standing. And the Republic that once promised peace is long dead. What happens now? Rey asks quietly. Ben closes his eyes, reaching outward through the Force. His expression darkens. Chaos, systems falling apart, power vacuums forming, crime syndicates expanding, warlords rising. The Resistance will rebuild the Republic, Rey says. Ben turns to her. The Republic failed twice, once to Palpatine, once to the First Order. Why would it succeed a third time? Rey feels the truth of his. Words settle heavily in her chest. She has seen the Senate's corruption. She has seen politicians ignore suffering. She has watched entire systems vanish because leaders hesitated. So what's your answer? She challenges. Ben exhales slowly. The galaxy needs something stronger than fragile politics, and better than tyranny. It needs balance, leadership, with purpose. And you think that's us? I know it is. Together. The idea terrifies her. She never wanted power. She was a scavenger, a nobody searching for belonging. Yet through the Dyad, she feels Ben's knowledge, his understanding of leadership, his experience commanding fleets, his exposure to politics, strategy, and influence. But she also feels his flaws, his anger, his doubts, his shadows, and he feels her light, her empathy, her hope, her ability to inspire trust, two halves correcting each other. Not rulers, Rey says carefully. Not emperors. No, Ben agrees. Protectors, guardians, We don't rule through fear. We prevent the galaxy from ever falling this far again. Rey thinks of the Jedi who watched suffering from ivory towers, of governments that debated while people died, of empires that enforced order through terror. None of it worked. Maybe the old paths were never meant to continue. The Resistance won't accept this, Rey says. Then we show them, Ben replies. Not with force, with results, with peace that lasts. She looks into his eyes, sensing both danger and possibility. The path ahead is risky. Corruption is always close, but through the Force, she feels something real. Hope, balanced by strength. All right, Rey finally says, but we protect the innocent. We free the forgotten. We never become what we destroyed. Ben nods. Balance. Always. Their hands meet. And across the stars, the Force shifts. For the first time in generations, a dyad does not choose light or dark, but something new, something the galaxy has never known. The moment their hands separate, the weight of what they've chosen begins to settle across the Force, like a ripple in deep water. Ben feels it first. Not voices, not visions, but pressure. Entire star systems shifting their attention, as if the galaxy itself has turned to face them. The dyad is no longer just a bond between two souls. It has become a signal. A beacon. Ships begin emerging from hyperspace around Exegol. Resistance cruisers, scavenger fleets, smugglers drawn by rumors of Palpatine's fall. And far beyond them, remnants of the First Order regroup in the shadows, watching. Waiting, they'll come for us, Rey says quietly. Some to follow, some to stop us. Ben's expression hardens. Then this begins now. Their first act is not conquest, it is mercy. Rey insists they transmit a system-wide message, not a declaration of rule, not a threat, a promise. Across the galaxy, screens flicker to life. Holoprojectors hum, and millions witness the impossible. Sight. Ben Solo standing alive, Rey beside him, not enemies, not soldiers, united. This war is over. Rey's voice echoes across the stars. The Sith are gone, Palpatine is finished, but the galaxy is still bleeding. We will not abandon it again. Ben steps forward. We will not rule through fear. We will not build another empire. We will protect trade routes, stabilize systems, dismantle warlord fleets, and restore order where governments have failed. Some cheer, some curse their names, some call them saviors, others call them tyrants before they've even begun. But the message spreads faster than any fleet ever could. On core worlds, senators whisper in panic. On outer rim planets, oppressed workers gather in hope. On First Order warships, commanders hesitate, unsure whether to fight or surrender. The galaxy has not seen power like this before, not because of armies, but because of unity. Their next move is bold. Instead of returning to Coruscant, they establish their seat of power on a neutral world, a dead system once ravaged by war. Rey chooses it deliberately, a reminder, a warning, a symbol of rebirth. There, they begin assembling something new, not a senate, not an empire, not an order, a council of systems, Leaders chosen not by bloodlines or wealth, but by rebuilding efforts, by humanitarian success, by restoring water to dying worlds, by reopening hyperspace lanes, by protecting refugees. Ben oversees security. His understanding of military strategy becomes a shield instead of a weapon. He dismantles rogue first-order fleets and absorbs their forces into peacekeeping units under strict oversight. Rey leads reconstruction. She travels constantly, healing wounded worlds, training Force-sensitive children not as warriors, but as guardians of balance. Yet the darkness does not vanish. It watches in the unknown regions. Surviving Sith cultists begin spreading rumors. They paint Ben as a hidden tyrant, Rey as a false prophet. They whisper that no one should wield this much influence. Even together, and deep within Ben's mind, the old shadows still stir. Late at night, when the stars burn silently above their new capital, he feels it, the temptation, how easy it would be to force obedience, to eliminate opposition, to make the galaxy kneel instead of negotiate. Rey senses it through the bond, and finds him standing alone on the balcony, staring into space. "You're thinking about control again," she says softly. "I'm thinking about how fragile this all is," Ben replies. One mistake, and everything collapses. She steps beside him. "That's why we don't walk this path alone. That's why we hold each other accountable." He turns to her. "And if I become the thing I hate, then I'll stop you," Rey says without hesitation. "And if I lose myself, I'll bring you back," Ben answers. Their bond tightens. Not romantic, not political. Something deeper. A balance that must be maintained every single day. Because the truth is simple. If Ben and Rey succeed, the galaxy will finally know peace. But if they fail, they won't just create another empire. They will create the most powerful force the universe has ever seen. And next, the galaxy will test them hard. The test comes sooner than either of them expects. It begins with a single transmission from the Mid-Rim. A star system once liberated by their peacekeepers now burns. A planetary governor has been assassinated. The local defense fleet mutinies. And across the holonet, the same phrase spreads like wildfire. This is what happens under Dyad rule. Rey feels the disturbance instantly. Thousands of voices crying out in fear, anger, confusion. "They're trying to make us the enemy," she whispers. Ben's fists tighten. "They don't need to defeat us in battle. They just need to break public trust." The attack is claimed by a group calling themselves the Restoration Front. Former senators, military commanders, survivors of both the Empire and the Republic. Their message is clear. No one should rule the galaxy, especially not to. Force wielders bonded by power, worlds begin refusing dyad protection. Trade routes collapse. Neutral systems arm themselves. Old alliances fracture overnight. For the first time, Rey doubts. "We wanted to save everyone," she says quietly. "But what if forcing stability creates more war?" Ben looks at the star map hovering before them. Red conflict markers multiply across the galaxy like spreading infection. "Peace without strength doesn't survive," he replies. "If we hesitate now, chaos wins." Their philosophies begin to drift. Rey pushes for diplomacy, negotiations, patience. Ben pushes for decisive action, blockades, strategic force, removing hostile leaders before they can ignite full-scale rebellion. The bond between them tightens, strained, burning, unstable. And then comes the moment that changes everything. A resistance cell, led by commanders who once fought beside Rey, openly defies Dyad authority. They seize a weapons depot and broadcast a message accusing Ben of secretly rebuilding the First Order under a new name. Rey confronts him. "Did you authorize fleet expansion without council approval?" "Yes," Ben admits, "because we don't have time to debate while worlds fall apart. You're becoming what we swore to destroy. And you're becoming too afraid to lead." He snaps back. Silence stretches between them. Not empty, heavy, dangerous. For the first time since Exegol, the Dyad fractures emotionally. That night, Rey leaves the capital world alone. She travels to forgotten systems, witnessing suffering firsthand. Refugee camps, starving colonies, children born into war zones that never ended. Meanwhile, Ben remains behind, and the galaxy begins to obey him. Under his command, piracy collapses, smuggler empires fall, warlords disappear, order spreads rapidly, but it comes with fear. Systems comply not because they love the Dyad, but because they fear what happens if they resist. When Rey returns, she barely recognizes the government they created. Statues, military parades, planetary governors bowing instead of debating. "This isn't balance," she says. "It's stability," Ben answers coldly. And it works. Their bond pulses violently. Light and shadow clash inside it, and somewhere deep within the Force, something ancient awakens. Not Sith, not Jedi. Something that feeds on division within the Dyad itself. Because the greatest threat to their rule is no longer the galaxy. It's each other. And if Ben and Rey choose different futures, only one of them will shape the fate of the stars. The Force grows restless. Across the stars, ancient temples begin to awaken. On forgotten moons and buried worlds, dormant relics hum with energy. The Dyad has disrupted something old. Something foundational. Rey feels it first. During meditation, she is pulled into a vision. Not the future, but the origin of the Force itself. Two beings stand at the center of creation. Not light, not dark, but equilibrium. When they drift apart, the galaxy fractures into endless cycles of war. She wakes in terror. The Force doesn't want us separated, she tells Ben. It needs the Dyad unified, or everything breaks. Ben listens silently, then speaks the truth he has been hiding. "I've been having visions too. Not of balance, of empire, of absolute order, of a galaxy that never falls again because it's controlled completely." Rey steps back. "That's not the Force speaking. That's temptation. Or clarity," Ben replies. "Maybe balance isn't equality. Maybe it's dominance preventing chaos." Their argument is interrupted by an emergency transmission. The Restoration Front has united multiple sectors. A massive fleet is forming near the galactic core. Their goal is simple: destroy the Dyad, restore traditional rule, End. Force-based leadership forever. War is inevitable. Rey proposes a risky solution. We go to them. Together, no armies, no fleets. We show them we're not tyrants. Ben shakes. His head, they won't listen. They want symbols to burn, and we are the biggest ones left. But if we fight, Rey says, we prove them right. The choice splits them. Rey leaves with a small diplomatic convoy. Ben prepares the defense. Fleets. For the first time since Exegol, the Dyad stands on opposite sides of a war. The Restoration fleet opens fire before Rey can even speak. Her convoy is nearly destroyed. She barely escapes with her life. When Ben senses her pain through the bond, something inside him breaks. He gives the order. Full counterattack. The battle that follows becomes legend. Thousands of ships collide above the galactic core. Hyperspace lanes collapse. Stars burn with weapons fire. The Force itself trembles as Rey rushes into the battlefield to stop Ben. While Ben advances to end the war permanently, they meet in space. Standing on the shattered hull of a destroyed flagship. This ends now, Rey says. Call off the fleets. I can't, Ben replies. If I stop, the galaxy tears itself apart again. And if you continue, Rey says, tears forming, you become the monster everyone fears. The Dyad erupts. Force energy spirals around them. Not light or dark, raw cosmic power. Their bond pulls them together and pushes them apart at the same time. The ancient presence awakens fully. The Force itself manifests, not as a being, but as a truth. The Dyad was never meant to rule. It was meant to decide, to choose whether the galaxy would be guided or controlled. Ben finally understands. All his visions of empire were warnings, not destinies. He deactivates his weapon, signals the fleet to stand down. The Restoration forces hesitate. The war stops in stunned silence. Ben turns to Rey. I don't deserve redemption, he says. But the galaxy deserves freedom. He steps back, severing his control over the Dyad bond voluntarily. The act nearly kills him. The power collapses inward. The cosmic energy disperses across the stars, stabilizing hyperspace routes, calming conflict zones, weakening warlord strongholds. The Force returns to balance, but the Dyad is broken. Ben survives, but loses most of his connection to the Force. Rey remains powerful, but no longer bound. They part not as enemies, not as rulers, but as legends. Years later, the galaxy remembers this moment not as the rise of an empire, but as the choice that ended the age of war. Two souls who held ultimate power and chose to let it go. The galaxy heals slowly. There is no celebration, no grand parade, no statues built in their honor, only reconstruction. Trade routes reopen one by one. Refugee fleets finally find permanent homes. Border wars fade into negotiations. For the first time in generations, systems begin choosing cooperation instead of conquest. Rey does not take a throne. She refuses every political title offered to her. Instead, she vanishes into the Outer Rim, traveling from world to world with a small group of Force-sensitive students. Not an order, not a temple, a network. She teaches them one rule: above all others, never seek power, only protect balance. Ben disappears, even more completely, stripped of most of his connection to the Force. He becomes something the galaxy never expected. Anonymous. He takes no name, wears no symbol. He helps rebuild destroyed settlements, escort refugee convoys through pirate territory, works in shipyards and farms on worlds that never cared about bloodlines or legends. Some nights, he still feels echoes of the Force, weak, faint, like distant starlight. But the bond with Rey is gone. Almost years pass. Then one evening, Rey feels something familiar while meditating beneath twin suns on a forgotten desert world. Not a voice, not a vision of Dah. Presence. She follows it across dunes to a small settlement where children gather around a man repairing moisture generators. His hair is longer, his clothes worn, his posture quieter, but she knows immediately. They don't speak at first. They don't need to. The Force no longer binds them, but memory does. You chose a small life, Rey finally says. Ben smiles faintly. After trying to rule the stars, small feels right. She sits beside him as the suns sink below the horizon. The galaxy still tells stories about us, she says. Most of them are wrong. They usually are, Ben replies. Legends are easier than truth. Silence stretches peacefully. Then, Rey stands. I won't stay. The students need me. I know, Ben says. She hesitates. Do you ever regret it? He looks at the horizon where light fades into night. Every day and never. They share one last quiet moment. No dramatic farewell. No Force vision. No prophecy. Just to people who once held the fate of the galaxy, now choosing to let it belong to everyone else. Rey walks back toward her ship. Ben returns to his tools, and above them, the stars remain steady, unnulled, unclaimed. Free, that's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.